Dude, what's going on? I can't never get this. I never can get this this blur off my videos. But anyway, I just leave it how it is. So YouTube, what's going on? Let me wait for somebody to come in and make sure my live working. Okay. Yeah, it look like it's working. Okay. Let me see. I'm trying to it's like light coming from everywhere. Whatever. YouTube, what's going on? Appreciate y'all watching my videos. What's going on? But anyway, so the title to this video is called Work Ethic. So, I talk about a lot of things in my video. I mean, a lot of my videos, these are like kind of like a digital journal, so to speak. And, maybe I need to vent and get some of this stuff off my chest. And so I appreciate y'all just coming and watching and watching my videos. Appreciate it. Y'all could be doing some other things, but you're sitting there watching my videos. But anyway, so work ethic. I make a bunch of videos, and I was going through my videos and I was just thinking, I was blessed because I talked to a lot of people. I think I came to the conclusion that I'm blessed to have been raised in a family around men that taught me good work ethic. So I didn't have a father that was involved in my life. I never met the guy. Years ago, I got a strange phone call from a guy who claimed to be my father, and he called and apologized. It was like a quick 15-minute conversation. And so whoever that person was, it was probably about 10 years ago. I haven't spoke to that guy, but other than that, I don't have like a father figure in my life. But however, I did have brothers. I had uncles and stuff like that. That was, an integral piece in my life. And so when it come to like work, these men in my life taught me some good work ethic. Now, they didn't just sit me in a classroom and say, okay, Fofo, this is what work ethic is. No, it's just I learned from example. And so basically my mama and my auntie, anytime that I'm sitting around the house or something like that, my mama and my auntie will send me off with my brothers, either one of my brothers, or send me off with my uncles. I had two uncles at the time growing up between the age of like 10, I would say between the age of like 7, 8, all the way up to probably about 15, 16, 17 years old. And then once I started growing, like my friend circle started growing, I started hanging out with my friends and stuff like that. And then I went off to college, and then I did like 2 years of college, and then I started working, and I got caught up in the work and paying bills and stuff like that. And so I wanted to give that backstory because I started thinking, I was like, man, because I talked to a lot of guys, and, I try to help, my fellow man, friends and family, associates that I bump into. And I just be like, man, you just gonna have to knuckle down and just get this done. Whatever it is you're trying to do, You just gonna have to knuckle down and get this done. And, you know, I came to the conclusion that not everybody got this knuckle down and getting it done type of skill. Because I'm thinking that is a skill. Just because I know I'm not perfect. I know it takes me some time. I'm a human being just like everybody else. Like, I'm going to the gym. Like, a year or two ago, before I started school, while I was going to school, before and after I was going to school, I was going for walks regularly. I lost a bunch of weight. I lost probably about 30, 40 pounds. I think I was up to like 240, and I dropped about 50, 60 pounds. I couldn't believe it. I got my lowest weight. I was able to get down to about 175 pounds, somewhere around there. And if you go back in my videos, you see I look different in the face. You can see. And so I turned around and gained a bunch of that weight back. I was like, I'm human just like everybody else. I'm not no superhuman. That's the point I'm trying to make. But when it comes to work ethic, I'm no special than anybody else. All it takes is just knuckling down to get stuff done. So, for example, I'm going to talk about me going back to school and getting my accounting degree. Okay. You go back in my videos, I have, throughout my journey, I kind of, you know, kept up with all my journey, you know, getting my accounting degree. So, you know, now I didn't do any videos showing me study or nothing like that, because that's distracting. That's a lot of work. And that's not what my channel is about. But my channel is about motivation. My channel is about helping my fellow man, specifically my black brothers and sisters. Now, I'm not trying to be racist or nothing like that, but I know in the black community, we don't have mentors. We don't have role models. And that is a key place where, you know, in the black community, we're lacking. We're lacking. The single mother household is real. My mom was a single mom, and it's real. And, you know, as you become an adult, you manifest those traumas and those issues. They show up broadly when you get an adult. And so if you don't have a father figure, I was blessed enough to have uncles and older brothers because all the men in my family were blue collar men. Nobody in my family were white collar men, professional men. And so all I know is just hard work. And so when I think of my ideology of hard work, is labor. And so I used to go with my brother. I used to go with my uncles and go and do work with them. Like I had one uncle, he fixed on cars. And so he would take me with him to the store. We would go to the junkyard. We would source parts and stuff like that. I would help him fix cars and trucks. And he had like a little side hustle fixing cars, right? And then he had a full-time job. And then my other uncle, he worked in the church. So he was a deacon in the church. And so he would cut the grass at the church. I would come with him. My mama would tell me to go with your uncle now. And my uncle, he would take me with him, and we would just spend good quality time. And so we would cut the church grass. We would cut grass for members of the church and stuff like that, because they're members of the church that couldn't afford a landscaper. So he would cut grass of members of the church. And, you know, I can go on and on. All these things, like, and then I have my brother, I have a older brother. He was in the trades. And so he pretty much did all like handyman type stuff. He had all kinds of jobs, landscaping, plumbing, all kind of just mixed bag of jobs. And so I would go with him and do work. He would pay me. My uncle would pay me. And I've learned the value of a dollar and work ethic. And so I wanted to give you that background before I go into what I'm about to say. And so I stand here right now For some of you, it may not be a big deal. In my family, it's a big deal. I stand right here right now as a college graduate, and with, with a hodgepodge of credits from all different areas, but then the last 45, 50 credits, which is the bulk of my degree, is in accounting. And so business and accounting. And so I what trucking was able to do for me, when I got into trucking was a big punch in the face. Any of you guys who got into trucking, trucking is a punch in the face. Okay. Trucking is a lot of hard work. And so you got to have a strong work ethic to run trucking. And so trucking gave me an opportunity to use those work ethic skills, put those skills to work, because I'm always hungry. I'm never bothered to work. And so I've been raised to just work hard, And so that is like some background on, okay, I stand here in front of you as a college graduate with an accounting degree. And let me tell you, for some people, accounting may be easy. For some people, it may be hard. And I'm going to tell you, for me, it was hard. To be honest, school was never easy for me. School was always a challenge for me. Growing up in a household where no one in my family went to college, yet alone graduated high school. So most of my family are blue collar workers. Like my mama, she was a housekeeper. She worked at a hotel from time to time, and she make up the beds, and she was a housekeeper at a hotel. I didn't know that as a kid, but as I got older, I was like, oh, when you go to the hotel and that lady pushing the cart through the hotel with all the bedspreads and she making up the beds, that lady, that was my mama. I never been to a hotel up to that point as a kid. I had no idea what that was until I got older and I started traveling and staying at hotels. I was like, oh, my mama did this job. And I started to realize, like, oh, these folk don't have education, and so they do this job. That's what happens. And so I'm not picking on nobody, but I have to paint the picture. So that way, you get what I'm going here. And then I had an auntie. She worked at a dry cleaners. When you go to a dry cleaners, the person, if you look in the back there, they got these big steam machines, and they got this big hanger that holds all the clothes, a mechanical hanger that rotates all the clothes, and you go and get your clothes pressed and all that stuff. Yes, that's what my auntie did. And so I grew up in a house like that. Okay. And so this is what I had to put up with growing up, And so I had uncles and male figures that were just hardworking people. And so I had to paint the picture. And so I stand right here in front of you as a college graduate with an accounting degree. Okay. And so what trucking did for me, exposed me to business. That's what it did. Trucking exposed me to business. So when I was a W-2 driver, when I graduated truck driving school back in 2007, I graduated truck driving school in 2007. I started with a trucking company called Rail Transport, ROEHL. Y'all seen them, the red trucks. They out of Wisconsin. Rail Transport, ROEHL, Transport. You can Google them. It's a real trucking company. That's where I started as my first trucking company out of truck driving school. So I got exposed to business. Now, nobody in my family has owned a business, ran a business at a successful level, at a level where you got accounting and you got marketing, you got bookkeeping, you got taxes, you got customers and stuff like that. No one in my family. Now, There was a few people in my family, they had like side hustles, and they just, they just getting money, so to speak. But I didn't have that growing up. And so what trucking did for me was put me in a position to learn business. And so, in my opinion, it's a lot of businesses out here, but trucking is one of those businesses where it's a real organic business. And because trucking exposes you to like all these aspects of business. And so there are a lot of things where you need to have in place to be in trucking. And so you got customers, right? Customer service, revenues, expenses, compliance. Okay. You have to abide by rules, and you got to be on time. You have to be timely when you deliver these loads. You have to plan. You have to do planning. And a general idea when we're talking about business, trucking is a business at its core. It is a business. And so I say all this to say is that, okay, I stand here before you as a college graduate with an accounting degree because of trucking, because I put in a lot of work. When I started in trucking in 2007, I learned all these aspects of trucking. I learned all these aspects, the business side and the driving side, to where I was able to go and start my own trucking business. I started my own trucking business. Yes, I did. I had the balls to go and get my own truck. And then I went and got my own trailer. And so I got my own trailer, got my own authority, and all those skills basically molded and combined and got me to a point where I'm sitting at right now. And so I'm here to tell you, like, when I decided to go back to school to get my accounting degree, right? When I decided to go back to school, I did some research on accounting. I did some research and I started looking at accounting courses. Okay. I was looking at accounting courses, and I started looking at the coursework of accounting, and I started looking at what accountants do. Okay. What do accountants do on a day-to-day basis? What do they do? And so I watched videos, I Googled, and I talked to people and stuff like that. I was like, the first impression, I looked at accounting, I was like, ooh, that ain't for me. It's hard. It's hard. Accounting, whew. You started looking at it, it's like, ooh, you look at these equations and you look at expenses, gross revenues, and taxes. It's like, ooh, accounting, crunching numbers. Ooh. I don't know if I can do that. And then once I kept Googling, and I was just like, I've been in trucking. At that point, I was in the trucking industry for about 15 years at that point. 2020, what are we talking about? 2020, 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 21, 22. Yeah, so I was probably in trucking for about 15, 16, 17 years at that point. Because in 2021, I decided to go back to school. And I started doing this research, right? Doing research and trying to get myself prepared I was trying to make this decision to go back to school. And so I was like, okay, I have about 60, 70 college credit. You need 120 credits to graduate with a bachelor's degree. And so I started doing research because I wanted to get out of the truck. I thought about maybe getting into the administrative part of trucking. Maybe become a dispatcher, getting into load planning, getting into the business side of trucking. I want to get out the truck. You know, you can make a good living as a load coordinator. You can be a fleet manager. You can make $70,000 a year as a fleet manager. You can make $80,000 a year as a logistics coordinator. You can do all these things, customer service, billing. You can do billing. You can do all these kind of things in trucking. And so I was like, and I started looking at these jobs. And I was like, hey, you need a college degree. Now, you really don't need it, but you know, you give yourself a better chance when you can check that box and be like, yeah, I got a college degree. And so I started looking. I was like, okay, I was just going to do just business. It's like I ran a trucking business. How hard can getting a business degree be? And so then I started looking at, I was like, business is too broad. A bachelor's degree in business is way too broad. Let me get a little bit specific. I started looking at finance, accounting, marketing, you know, IT, you know, business has a specialty for IT, you know, business IT, you know, and so, and I was just like, oh, I was like looking, and then I landed on accounting, and I started looking at accounting. Everything started resonating with me, and I was like, wow, accounting may be cool. I don't know. And I started looking at videos, guys doing a day in the life. There are people on YouTube that do day in the life as an accountant. They take their phone with them and they show them what they do on a day-to-day basis. And I was like, oh, I could do that. And so then I decided I decided, I was like, okay, this is it. I'm going to do accounting. I started looking at schools in Georgia, online schools in Georgia, you know, and I was looking at costs, how much it's going to cost for me to go back to school and stuff like that. And I found a school down in Georgia. That's Georgia's Southwestern University. They charge about $200 a credit hour. And so basically it's pretty much about $2,500 a semester. If I take four classes, that'd be about $2,500 a semester. Take four classes. And so I did the math, $2,500 for the spring, $2,500 for the fall. And if I can take two classes in the summer, that'd be about $1,500, $1,400, you know. And so the semesters last January through April. So you got 4 months. Okay, 4 months a semester. So that'll be for every 4 months. I got to come up with $2,500, $2,500. And so basically that's 5,000 plus another 12 or 13, 14 for the summer. I'm looking at about $6,500 for school. For books, add another 1,000 on there. So I'll be looking at about $7,000, $8,000 to go to school. And so I did that. So I did the research, crunched the numbers, put down the classes I would need to take, set the order in which I need to take the classes. And so I found out I can test out of some of these classes I can test out because I have work experience. Some schools allow you to test out of some classes if you have work experience. And if you can take the test, you can test out of some of these classes. And so I did that. I took Principles of Accounting 1, or Accounting Principles 1. I signed up for the test. The test was like, I think the test was like $35 or something like that. Signed up for the test. I studied for about 2 months, 3 months, or whatever. I could have studied for about a couple weeks, knuckled down, but I was BSing. And that's kind of the point of this video. I was BSing. Because it really didn't take me that long. It was just, I wasn't motivated. I made a decision, but I was like I told y'all, I'm a human being just like the rest of y'all. But a lot of times people don't go into the details of stories, and they just think that people just do stuff and they're amazing. They're amazing. No, I'm a human being just like everybody else. I could have sat down, knuckled down, and studied for that test in 2-3 weeks, went down there and took it, but I was dragging my butt, 2-3 months or whatever. So I finally scheduled the test, went down there and took it, failed it. Because accounting, principles of accounting 1, failed it. Took it 2 times, failed them both, failed the first one and the second one. Okay, I'm out of $70. Okay. So, but the good thing about it is that time while I was studying gave me the experience to know what's on the test. And so at that time, I didn't know what's on the test. And then the second time, I knew what's on the test, but I was short like a few points. The second time I failed it, I failed the test. Well, I won't say I failed it, but I just didn't pass. I think I was short like 2-3 points. It's like, damn. And so at that point, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go and take the college course. I'm just going to take the college course. Because at that point, I pretty much taught myself accounting, because I sat up there and studied for about 3 months to go and take the CLEP exam. That's what they call it. They call it the CLEP exam. If any of you guys been to college or high school or whatever, you got the Cliff Notes or whatever. That's kind of the same stuff. So I took the CLEP exam. You can test out. And so the point is, if y'all can get my drift here, work ethic. It's work ethic. You got to keep at it. If you're serious about something and you're determined about something, keep at it. Keep at it. Keep at it. And so, somebody walking over there. So, okay. So at that point, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to sign up. I'm just going to take the college class. I filled out an application. I had my credits transferred from my other school that I went to when I was going in Florida. Cause I kind of grew up in Florida. I was born in Georgia, but when I was a young baby, my mama was dating this guy. I didn't learn this until I got older, but my mom was dating this guy or whatever, and they was getting into fights. And my uncle, which is her brother, came and got her and brought her down to Florida, because my uncle was living in Florida at that time. It's the same uncle that I was telling y'all about. And so see how this stuff kind of come together? And so I grew up in Florida, but I was born in Georgia. And so I started college in Florida. And so at that time, I probably had about 50, 60 credits from the school I went to in Florida. So I contacted the school, and when you go to a state school, your credits don't expire. You keep those credits when you go to a state school. I don't know about private schools. A lot of private schools, your credits expire after a certain amount of time, and you can't transfer them. But the great thing about going to a public state school, your credits never expire. And so once you take the class, your grade stays on record. You took the class. And so I transferred those credits to the school up here in Georgia, Georgia Southwestern University. Transferred those credits, and they evaluated my credits, and they told me, okay, if I take the accounting degree, these are the classes the remaining credits I would have to take. And it showed that I had to take another 50, 60 hours or so, something like that. I have to go and get my transcript. Maybe I'll do a video about it. Because the whole point of me making this video, I'm trying to inspire guys, not necessarily to go back to school, but just inspire guys to just do stuff, don't sit in one spot. The economy is always changing. Move with the times, because there are jobs out here you can't get into them because you just don't have either the education, the skills, the certifications, or whatever the case may be to get in them. So I transferred my credits and started school. I was looking at my coursework. I was looking at my schedules, the classes I need to take. I'm going to tell you, I was scared. Okay. It's been a while since I've been to school. It's been a while. And so I'm coming in as a transfer student, and what they do is they give you like a pre-exam to see where you at. So I took the pre-exam. Before you can start taking classes, you have to take this pre-exam. It's like a basics exam. You know, it's got some reading comprehension, got some math equations in there. It's like I forgot how many questions it had, on about 50 questions. And so I took the little test. I don't remember what my score was, because the test, it wasn't a determining factor whether you're going whether they're going to accept you. I was already accepted, but it's like a pre-test to take classes. You have to take that test. I forgot what I got on it, what grade I got on it, but I don't remember the grade being all that great. It ain't worth talking about. But I took the test, and so I started looking at the classes I needed to take. And I was like, man, those voices start creeping up, right? It's like, ooh, I don't know if I can do this. Can I be an accountant? Am I smart enough to be an accountant? You know, all those voices, you know. But I knew I wanted to get out of the truck. I was determined to get out of the truck. You know, I wanted to get into a different profession because I was tired of trucking. You know, I made plenty of money in trucking. I ran a trucking business. And so I needed just a plan B, plan C. I just wanted to get into a different line of work. I had to do it. I had to do it. Failure is not an option. That's pretty much how I psyched myself up. So here's the deal. I signed up for 2 classes just to get started. Signed up for 2 classes. I don't know, maybe 3. I signed up for 2 classes just to get myself started. I forgot what my first 2 classes was, but one of them was accounting. And then the other was like, I think history or something, introduction to business or something like that. I forgot what it was, but I took 2 classes just to get started. And so I was like, man, if I only take 2 classes, it's going to take me forever to get this degree done. But I took the 2 classes for the first semester, and then the second semester, and in the summer I took 1 class. And then that fall semester, I loaded my schedule up. I took a full schedule, 4 classes. And so, you know, that first semester, guess what happened? I passed accounting. I took accounting and I passed it. I forgot what my grade was. I think I got like a B, a C or something like that. I forgot, but I took it. I was sweating bullets. The assignments was tough. I'm gonna tell you, my first class, Principles of Accounting, was it. You know, I knew nothing about accounting outside of what I know about in my truck, running my truck. Basic revenue, basic. I understand what a revenue is. What is a revenue? Define revenue. Expenses. I knew what that was. What's a debit and a credit, and how you apply a debits and credits. It was just, oh my God. I thought about quitting. I wanted to quit so bad. But you know what? I kept going because failure wasn't an option. I wanted to get out of the truck. I wanted to get into a profession where there are plenty of jobs. And you know, the great thing about accounting, is that as long as you got that accounting degree, you can always get a job in accounting somewhere. You can always get employed somewhere. You can do taxes on the side. I mean, this guy, you can make trucking money with accounting degree. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I did it. You know, accountants, I look at accountants like truck drivers. They're dime a dozen. They're everywhere. Once you get into the accounting world, just like when you get your CDL, once you get in the trucking world, it's a world that people don't know about. And like, once you get your accounting degree, you in this circle of folk, you in this world of people with accounting degree, and like people quit jobs left and right, just like trucking. Like, I watch guys online. I be in like these forums, Reddit, YouTube channels. I'll be on Instagram, Facebook, and guys talking about they quitting this job and then next week they're getting another job with their accounting degree next week. It's just like trucking. You have a CDL in your pocket. You got a CDL in your pocket. You can quit this job with this truck company, go over here and work with this company. You can go over here and drive local. You can go over the road. You can work a concrete truck. You can do over here flatbed. You can do all this. The same thing exists in accounting because there's such a job shortage in the accounting profession. It's the same thing. Once you show up, you got your accounting degree. I got 24 hours, 30 hours, and 30 credit hours in accounting. You can get a job anywhere in accounting. So back to the story though. When I was taking those classes, I had my failures. I failed tests here and there. I failed assignments. I didn't do so good on assignments here and there. But you know, I kept good relationship with 2 or 3 of my accounting professors. And accounting professors, they want you to be successful. You know, if you participate in the coursework and you showing that you trying to do a good job, they'll give you extra credit to make up for a bad grade on a test. They'll give you a assignment on the side, you know, extra credit and all this kind of stuff. And you just keep a good relationship with them, keep in good communication with them. Let them know that, oh man, I'm trying to study. I'm going to be late to class, whatever the case may be. These people will help you. Okay. And so, you know, I know a lot of people have this idea about college. A lot of people who've never been to college, they have an idea about what college is. And this ignorance of it is not what you think. Okay. And so there's certain fields you shouldn't get a degree in. You shouldn't even waste your money on. But then there's certain fields that's just worth it. Accounting is one of them. Computer science is one of them. You know, they're all kind of like degrees that are damn worth spending the money on. And then there's some degrees that just you had no business. You shouldn't be getting a dance degree. Why are you going to get a degree in dance? Getting a degree in philosophy. What kind of job you get with philosophy? You can't do taxes with that. Nobody isn't going to pay you on the spot. With accounting, you show up and do somebody taxes. Boom, you get cash in your hand on the spot. You can hang up a little sign on the street. Hey, I can get you a refund and this and that and the third. Not necessarily, not saying that you need an accounting degree to do these things. But when you have an accounting degree, it opens up doors for you. It legitimizes your skill set and your knowledge. And so you can move on to be a CPA and stuff like that. But the point I'm trying to make with this video is that I'm a regular guy. I had my trials and tribulations, and I just wanted to talk about them to give you an idea what my background was, because I talk to folk and like I get really insulted when somebody tells me, oh, I'm so smart. I'm so super smart. You the greatest guy in the world and all that. I know, I appreciate it. I thank you. And I'm not doubting myself. I know who I am. I don't need all that, but I don't need all this extra praise. But the thing is, if you want to do something, you got to knuckle down and do it. That's it. You can do anything. Stop telling yourself you can't do something, because I know. If you look at my transcript, maybe one day I'll pull up my college transcript, and if I can find my high school transcript, I'll show you who I am. I didn't get a bunch of A's in school. I'm just going to tell you, I just didn't. You know, I've had my share of A's and B's, but I had my share of F's and D's. And so, you know, and so that's me personally, that's just how I feel about it. You know, I'm just an average guy at best, you know? And so you ain't got to be a superstar at life. Everybody think you got to be a superstar. No, man. Because the thing is when I went back to school, and I ain't been in school for a while. And to go back to school after so many years, that's a challenge. Y'all know that's a challenge because y'all watching my videos And I know some of y'all want to go back to school. Either you want to go back and get into plumbing, y'all want to go and get into HVAC, you want to get into a blue collar trade, whatever. Y'all are scared to face the reality that you don't know, and that it's been a while since you've been in school. And so you're threatened by that. You're threatened. I know you are, because I'm a person too. And I feel those same feelings. When I went back to school and I'm in these classroom with people half my age, I'm 42 years old, sitting in class with somebody that's 18, 19, 20, 22 years old. You have to stomach that. You have to move that stuff, those feelings to the side. It's hard. It's not easy. It's hard though. As a whole grown man with bills and a family and all this, you sitting in a class with somebody 22 years old, they whooping your behind. When it comes to this coursework, you doing group assignments with these kids. You doing group assignments, and there's a certain level of insecurities that you have to just get over if you want to move forward in life. Get over it. Because I know I felt those same feelings. I felt them. I have those feelings. Sitting in class, you got this complex topic in front of you. Hey, 404, you got to compute depreciation. You got to compute stock loss on a business. You got to compute the capital on stockholders equity and treasury stock and all this. You got to compute these things. It's like, I don't know. And so you got to read the book and learn. You got to read the book and learn how to do it. And you got to read it. I'm going to tell you, I didn't pick up all this stuff on the first try. I did not pick up all this stuff on the first try. I had to keep reading it, take the test, fail it. Keep reading it, take the test, fail it. Keep reading it, keep reading it, keep reading it. In school you have practice tests. You can take practice tests before the real test. And so my whole thing is, like, once I started to get like an 80%, once I started to get about an 80% on the practice test, it's like, okay, it's time to go take the real test. And so, because when you take these classes, you got these practice tests that you can take to get prepared. And so a lot of times I've learned to just not read the book first. I come and read the book after the fact. First, I'll take the practice test. Then see all the questions that I failed. Now I know what to look for. So it's a more efficient way to do a class, to do a coursework. And so to do college coursework, to me, that I've learned from my experience. Don't waste your time reading a whole chapter. That's a waste of time. When you got 4 classes, you got to do this for 4 classes. And you got 4 classes, you got to devote all this time, a bunch of time to each class. On a weekly basis, you got to devote, for 3 credit hour class, you got to give 10 to 15 hours a week to each class. That's what you got to do. 10 to 15 hours per class. So if you're taking 4 classes, that's 40, 50, 60 hours a week studying. That's what that is. 40 to 50, 60 hours a week studying. For me. Some of y'all may be smarter than me, but that's what I had to build a study schedule. And I had to build a study schedule for myself. A lot of this stuff that I learned from running a business. And so I didn't have these skills and these techniques to build a plan, because this is planning. This is all what this is. This is planning. And so when I ran my truck, I've learned how to plan my loads. I learned how to plan business. I learned, okay, for the month, before I start the month in my trucking business, I would be like, okay, this is how much revenue I need to make for the month. I kind of work backwards. This is the revenue I need to make for the month. I'll set reasonable expectations on how many loads I need to book daily, weekly, to get me to the revenue. This is the price that I need on each load to make this revenue. You kind of work backwards. And so the same thing, those skills I used to get through school, and everything started coming together. It's like, man, going to school, it's like running a business. And so I set a study schedule for myself. When I started my classes, I have 4 classes. I'll build a study schedule. It's like, okay, I'll look at the classes and say, okay, this class right here is harder. I'm gonna set aside 4-5 hours a day studying for this class, 2 hours a day because this class is easy. It don't make sense to devote all this time. I'm an accounting major. I have to focus on accounting classes. All these other classes, general business, history, all this other junk, I don't need to waste time on that, because accounting, this is my degree. And so with accounting, you have to get at least a B average to graduate. And so certain schools have certain requirements in the degree program. And so at the school I went to, you have to average a B in all your accounting classes. So it's a couple classes I did get a C in, but then there are a couple classes I got A's in. And then if you average them out, I think I averaged like a B, high B, low A through all my accounting classes, because it's all planning. These are the work ethic skills that you have to, and the title of this video is work ethic skills. And so these are the skills I brought from running my business, from the trucking industry. I put it into what? Getting through the accounting degree. These are planning and analysis skills that I wasn't taught growing up in a blue collar family, because blue collar families, we don't learn these professional skills like that. You learn those in the white collar skills, managing a business. Okay. You manage, overseeing a business, you plan taxes, you do administrative, you send emails and stuff like that. So you learn how to communicate. These are the things that I've learned trying to get through accounting degree. A lot of it is work ethic. You talking about 50, 60 hours a week studying, man. And so, like I told you, I learned how to work backwards. So I would get my classes, right? I'll get my classes. And usually I would take 2 accounting classes and 2 non-accounting classes. I would make my accounting classes priority. I would put more time towards accounting and then less time towards the other classes that are not accounting. So it'll be like marketing 101, or it'll be organizational behavior. That is a business class. It'll be I'm trying to think of a non-business class. I took a science class. I took math. I had to take a math class because I was short a math credit. I had to take statistics 1 and 2. So I took 1 statistics course, and I took 2 accounting classes, and I took a general, because I didn't meet all my college requirements at the other school. I had a bunch of credits, but some classes, you know, I didn't have those credits. But basically I got those courses, put together a plan. Okay, for accounting, I work backwards. I will go straight to the quizzes. I will open up the book, go to the back of the book where all the quizzes at, and I'll take a practice test for myself. I'll take a practice test and see where I'm at. Okay, these are the things I need to learn. And when you take the quiz, the questions that you got wrong, it'll tell you what section or topic to read up on to understand the question. So that makes it easier. That's a better way to do it. So you're not studying blindly, because it don't make sense to sit up there and study the whole chapter when you can just take the practice test, right? See what you got wrong. It'll be 20, 30 questions. See what you got wrong. And then it'll tell you which section on the quiz. It'll tell you which section in the chapter to read up on. And so I would do that. And now I got a little plan. All I got to do is study for these topics, depreciation. If there's 3-4 questions on depreciation, I can read the chapter, or I can read the section in the chapter about depreciation, how depreciation works. And so I'll read that. And I was like, okay, let me read this chapter 3-4 hours. Then I'll go for a walk. Then come back. And if y'all watch my videos, I got videos of me walking. You go way back. To 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I would go walk, and then I'll come back. And then I'll study on some other class. And so, it wasn't easy. I'm going to tell you it wasn't easy because I failed a lot. You talking about accounting. I never done technical accounting before. I never worked in the field like that. And so I had to listen to the lectures. The professor is lecturing. You listen to the lectures. You taking notes. You got to ask questions, participate in the group projects, do the assignments. It is a lot of work. Okay. And half the time I didn't understand nothing I was doing. I stand here today understanding I understand a lot more than I did before. But when you're going through the class and you don't know what you're looking at and you're reading the course material, it's like, oh my God, you want to just quit so bad, but you got to stay focused. You got to stay focused on the prize. You got to stay focused on that prize. What is it? Getting that accounting degree, starting your bougie office job. That was my goal. I didn't want to get in nobody's truck. I was tired of trucking. Okay. I didn't want to climb in nobody's truck. Okay. I wanted to get a bougie white collar accounting job, sitting at a desk. That's what I wanted to do. Okay. And so you got to stay motivated. You got to stay motivated. You got to remember why you doing this. It's not easy. It's not easy. I'm telling y'all, it's not easy. I failed a bunch of tests. Okay. I studied over and over again topics. I just wasn't getting it. And then finally, it'd be that point where you have an epiphany. It's like, oh my God, I get it. I understand it. I get depreciation. I understand how to calculate depreciation backwards and forth now. I've done it so many times. You know how many times I calculated depreciation? I sat here because there are a bunch of methods of depreciation. You got straight line. You got double declining depreciation. You got years. You got years of, I forgot what the other ones is years. Some of years depreciation. Like I've calculated those methods several times over and over and over again. Okay. And during the test. And so because accounting is so technical, it's like you have to know this stuff. You have to know it. It ain't just reading a question. What is depreciation? Yeah, I know what is depreciation, but you have to apply it. And so it's like you have to actually calculate it. You're reading a question and it's just like, okay, if a business is this, they got 5,000 expenses, this, that, and the third, they sell off, the business burns down, and then can they take appreciation? And then they got 10,000 and this and that, the third. It's like, okay. Let me think this through. Okay, if the business does this, $5,000, they buy a truck, okay, and then they get salvage value. They take the salvage value and divide that by that, and so this and that to do. Boom, that's depreciation rate right there. And so that's what I'm trying to say to you. It's like now I'm sitting here right now. I've mastered depreciation because I've done it over and 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 over. It's because if you go to school for an accounting degree, you gonna get your butt handed to you because you do stuff over and over and over again, just like any other profession out here. You just do it over and over and over again. You master it. Yep. Like I know how to calculate depreciation on a business. I know how to calculate depreciation of a building, a rental property, business assets, cars, trucks, computers, all kinds of little things in the business. I get it. When I look at depreciation on a tax form, on I forgot what the tax form for depreciation, I forgot what it is. I think it's the 46 form 46 something, but it's a depreciation form to take losses and depreciation on the business. I've done it over and over and over again. And so when you go to school and you take you sign up for a degree in accounting, you got to take about 30 hours in accounting. Each class is 30 hours. It's basically about 10 classes in accounting. And each one is a stepping stone for the next one. You take principles. It's just basic accounting 101. And then you take accounting 102. And then you take intermediate. You take intermediate accounting. Now it's the middle level. Then you take intermediate 2. And then you take cost accounting. Cost accounting is hard. I'm just going to tell you, cost accounting is hard. It is hard. But once you learn it and you master it, it's easy. It's just common sense. You just think, oh man, why is I struggling so much? But I did it over and over and over again, studying over and over. Like I did questions. There's test questions that I did. There are projects in your accounting course that I've done over and over and over again, that once you get to a point, you just master it. You know, we have to build in accounting. You have to build a cash flow statement by hand. I didn't know nothing about cash flows. Know nothing about it. You have to learn all this basic stuff. What is a cash flow? What is free cash flow? What is that? What is the price index? You have to take into account the price index. You have to take into account all these things that are just boring, and it's just, oh my God, it's just, but once you learn it and master it, it's easy. Some people pick it up faster than others, but I know for me, it wasn't easy. Like I had to do it 20 times. Each class, you probably gotta prepare a cash flow statement just for about in each class. Every other assignment requires you, and you know, on the test, it'll be about 50 to 75 questions on the test. I guarantee you at least one of them gonna require you to prepare a cash flow statement. And when you start doing them over and over again, you know, you have to prepare them in according to GAAP. So the cash flow statement just can't be a cash flow statement. It has to be prepared in a certain way, you know, according to GAAP. And so the cash flow statement has to be GAAP compliant. An income statement has to be GAAP compliant. The balance sheet has to be GAAP compliant. There's certain things, how it's structured and how it looks, it has to be GAAP compliant. You have to have the double line, single top line. You got to have columns, got to be certain way. And so you keep doing this stuff over and over again. That's the point I'm trying to make. This stuff was hard. It was. But I'm here to tell you, on the other side of it all, I stand here before you. I stand here for you. It brings me to tears. It brings me to tears to sit here and tell you I am an accountant. Yep. All that studying paid off. I can look at a business financial statement and I know what I'm looking at. It's just, you done it over and over again in school. You know, that's the whole point. School is practice. You don't know what you're doing at first, but you do it again, and you do it again, and then 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 you get to a certain level where it's just like, man, this stuff easy. It's just like, this stuff easy. It's easy. It's like, wow, I was stressing so much. This is, you know, and it's just like, man, I appreciate y'all watching my videos, man. To sit me in here and watch me vent, I really appreciate it. You know, because it brings me to tears to sit here, you know, all that work, all that studying, 50, 60, 70 hours a week, studying. And so I say that to say, if my dumb butt can do it, you can. And I'm not saying you should be an accountant, but whatever it is that is, if you feel like you want to change your life, you can do it. You just gotta put the time in. You gotta put the work ethic. And so the title of this video is work ethic. And I tell you, it's gonna take you some work ethic. It's gonna take you to sacrifice something. Me getting out of trucking wasn't easy. I had to sell my truck. I had to look myself in the mirror. I had to have the balls to get rid of my truck. I was making money in trucking. There was no reason for me to get out of trucking. I was profitable in trucking. I was profitable. I wasn't like a lot of these guys out here had losing a truck and not profitable. I was profitable. I was running a profitable business, but I want to get out of trucking. I know long term, I had to get out of trucking. Long term. Trucking is great, but I didn't want to be doing it at 60. I want to have a bougie white collar job, 60, 65 years old. That's what I wanted to do. And I know in trucking, you can drive a truck in 60. You can drive a truck at 70, but I ain't gonna want to be running up and down the road. I ain't want to be sitting up at no warehouse and some warehouse telling me what to do and all this stuff. And I just didn't want to do all that. It's cool in the beginning. 10 to 15 years is enough of my life for trucking. I took that money that I made and I paid cash for an accounting degree. Yeah, I paid cash for an accounting degree. Yeah. Somebody commented, how much did you sell that truck for? I bought the truck. It was a Snyder Finance truck. So I bought the truck from Snyder. So I was a lease contractor for Snyder. I was on the Snyder Choice Board. And so I sold the truck from basically what I paid for it. Basically a free truck, if you ask me, if you look at it that way. But I got the truck from Snyder for about $80,000 and I paid on it. I was on that lease for 3 years. I did that Snyder Choice lease for about 3 years. And I think the third year I had a residual balance on it for about 35,000. I think it was about 35,000. And so because basically I didn't want to buy the truck blind. That was my whole mental thing at that time. And so I didn't mind leasing the truck because my whole intention was buying the truck eventually. But I wanted to lease it and see if it's a durable truck. And if it starts breaking down, I was going to give it back to him. And so leasing the truck is a great way to test the truck. I done talked about this before in a whole bunch of my other videos. A lot of guys don't like leasing trucks, but if you got a goal and you're smart and intelligent and got a strategy, you can use leasing to your advantage. And so the thing about with Snyder Finance, with their trucks, they almost operate like a dealership. So once you lease that truck, in so many ways, the truck is yours. You can take that truck to any company. They don't care. And so you got to get it approved, but you can take that truck to any company. You can take it to Landstar. You can take it to all these companies out here that hires contractors. But so I had that truck. I started the lease out at $80,000 for that truck. It was a gently used truck, and I started out with $80,000. My payment on it was, I think it was $600 or $700 a week. It was $700. Let's just say $700 a week, $689 or something like that. But it was $700 a week for the truck. And so 7, 14, that was about $2,800 a month for that truck. And so that $2,800 goes to your residual balance every month. It goes to the residual balance. And so I was able to get the residual all the way down to 35,000 or something like that. I forgot. And I went to a bank and got a loan for the truck. and I got a loan for 35,000. And I ended up buying the truck. I was still in the truck, but I bought it from finance with my own financing. And so when I bought when the banks sent Snyder Finance for the truck, it was about 30-some thousand. I got the title and I put it in my business name. And then I was paying the bank about $1,000 a month for that truck. So I was able to lower the payment, but the interest rate was really high. So I didn't like that. So the interest rate on it was really, really high. I think the interest rate was like 10%. It was a dumb high rate. That's high. It was like 10-12%. It was a dumb high rate, but it was about $1,100-$1,200 a month for that truck when I got my own bank financing. I ended up paying the truck off eventually. I think I paid that truck off in a year. Basically, I paid it off. It was 35,000, and I was making dumb money, and so I was throwing extra $5,000 a month at that truck, and so I was throwing an extra $10,000 a month at that truck, and I was able to pay it off in about a year. I have to remember where I was, my mindset, where I was. I think I was throwing about $5,000 a month at that truck. I knocked it out in a year, basically. And so I paid that off, and eventually I paid my trailer off. But the trailer payment wasn't that much. My trailer payment was $500 a month. So that was easy. I didn't really make that focus because it was just $500 a month. So it was just like, but I just wanted to get rid of the note on the truck and start putting money back to replacing the truck, because that truck had about 600,000 miles on it. About 650,000 when I sold it. It was like 700,000 miles. And so basically I sold the truck for about 35. I think I sold that truck about 30 because it was during COVID and everything was inflated. So I sold my truck and trailer. It was about $65,000. I sold it to it was a trucking couple, and you know, the market was terrible during COVID. Like, it was, I could have sold my trailer for a lot more than that, because the trailer was pretty much brand new. Because the trailer, that was a 2017, 2018. The trailer was only 3-4 years old. And so I basically got back my money back, because I financed the trailer. It was about $29,000 for that trailer. And I was paying $500 a month on it. And I sold both the truck and the trailer at the same time for $65,000. So that's what I did. So I still got that money. It's sitting in the bank. I still got that money. So it's in the stock market, growing interest. And so I was able to get out of the truck and pay my bills with my rental income. Basically, I was using all my rental income to pay my home bills to get through school. And I used some of my savings, because I had some savings, and I used some of my savings to pay for school. And so every 4 months, I had to come up with $2,500 to pay for school. That was where I was at that time, 2021, 2022. That's where I was studying. I was an adult student. That's what I was doing. That was my job. And I'm thankful to be able to get through it. That was the whole point of me making this video, to demonstrate the level of work ethic. You're going to have to make decisions. Decisions are not always, everybody think decisions are easy to make. Decisions are not easy to make. Decisions are hard. You're going to have to make the hard executive decision to go over here and do this. It's not going to be easy. So when I talk about stuff on my videos, talking about going over here to do this, I know y'all all got responsibilities, and it's not going to be easy to just step out and go over here and do this. I know that. But either you going to elevate your life, move forward, and Something's got to give. Either your 2025, what are you doing for your 2025? Your 2025, I don't know what you got planned. You gonna stay in the same spot? You gonna sit here and continue to complain? You keep complaining about the same stuff every year. Make this year, stop that for this year and do something about it. Stop crying. Okay? And so, because I was doing that with myself. I was like, man, I don't like trucking. I don't like where trucking is going. And like, I was just looking at my 60-year-old self. I didn't want to be climbing in no truck at 60 years old. You know, and I just hated everybody in trucking making money. And I was profitable. I was profitable with my business, but I just hated. I go to the shop. They charge you $2,500 to fix this. The DOT, they cite you a fine. You go over here. Everybody making money on the tow truck guy making money on you. The truck dealership making money on you. The trailer dealership. Everybody, you go to deliver the load. You got to pay a lumper fee. The lumper guy making $500 to lump your trailer. I mean, it just go on and on. Like you go to these places, it takes 4 hours to get into the gate, and then it takes another 4 hours to get loaded. And you trying to be profitable. You trying to be profitable. You trying to run a profitable business. It's just difficult. It's just all those stressors because I have a number I want to meet. I set goals for myself. And so I have numbers I want to meet. And when I don't meet them, I get stressed out on a weekly basis. I was like, okay, I need to make $5,000 for the week. If I come up short, I'm going to be pissed because I didn't meet my goal. Nobody ain't do it to me, but I didn't meet my goal. And it's just like, I'll be mad. It's like, 4,200 this week, I wanted to make 5,000. And it's just like, I kept getting pissed off. It's just all these things kept getting in my way of meeting my goals. And I got tired of it. The DOT shut you down. It's an accident on the road. It's that the shipper cancel the load. You on your way to pick up the load. And like you get there and check in, you give them the load number and they tell you, oh, they canceled the load. What? And then I called the broker. He's like, yeah, I'm sorry. My apologies. Yeah, we canceled that load. Sorry. Click. Like, and you keep dealing with stuff like that. It keep bothering you. You know, it's just like, man, I got to get into another line of work. I got to get into another line of work. And so those are the things that motivated me. That and a bunch of other things. And so I was just like, man, I got to get into another line of work. And so I feel good with the decision I made. I'm sitting, you know, I like what I do right now. I'm an accountant. I work for the government and I work 40 hours a week. I make a good living and I ain't stressed out. I'm not stressed out at all. I sleep good. I go to the gym. My life is good right now. I'm good. That's, I did trucking. I did it for 15 years. I'm good. I don't need no more trucking. It's nothing exciting. When somebody bring up to me trucking, I'm like, ooh, go on. You better go on. I'm doing this over here. I'm done trucking. I done done it. Ain't nothing you can tell me about trucking. Yeah, you can't sit up and glorify trucking to me. Oh, trucking is great. It's great. Yeah. Wait till your butt stuck in Wyoming. I was stuck in Wyoming in a snowstorm before. It's all these stresses. You're going down this icy road. It's like I've looked death in the eye several times. You get tired of it. I remember I was in upstate New York. Up there, like around New York Thruway up there. I had a bright idea to take the country road, to take a shortcut to get to I-87. Now, if you look at the map, the New York Thruway goes from Albany all the way to the eastern end of New York. So Albany, New York is on the western side by Erie, Pennsylvania, that area. And then you got the New York Thruway. It's like 300 miles up the state of New York, up there where Rochester is and all that stuff, goes all the way to like Massachusetts, the state line of Massachusetts. So I needed to go down I-87 to go south to like White Plains, New York, go down to like Manhattan, I-87. I can't believe I remember all this, but I remember it because it's an event that I can't, I look death in the eye. I had a bright idea because I was up, because if you look at the map, I can cut cross to get to I-87. And so I had a bright idea to go take the country roads. It was snowing out. I had a bright idea. Take the country roads. I got off this road and the roads are icy. They didn't plow the roads. I got a false sense of security when you're on a big road, a big state interstate. They plow the roads, it's dry. You got snow everywhere, but the roads are dry. And they plowed them, put salt down. I got secure. I'm like, I'm good. I can run. And I was like, well, let me look at the map and maybe I can cut down and take I-87. Got off, see if I can pick up I-87, take this little country road, start riding along, everything good. And then I make like this little town starts to open up and there's this long grade. I think it was like 12% grade, 12% grade. I'm never going to forget it. I looked down into the town. At the end of that road was a neighborhood. And then the road cuts to the right. At the bottom of the hill, the road was icy. I would never forget it. I'm going down the road. I could have killed some people because it's a home right there. And like, thank God the skills and the techniques that I learned from truck driving school and all the training that I got from the trucking companies that I've been to, I was able to keep traction. I lost a little bit of traction. I was going down the steep grade, right? A slight jackknife, just slightly going down. I must have peed on myself. I must have peed and boo-booed on myself. I must have. I know I did. And so I don't remember too much, but I just remember going down that steep grade with the truck. Ooh, just sliding a little bit, no traction. You have memories like that, and at that time I wanted to get out of trucking. And this was like my second year in. Yeah, this is probably my second year in, maybe third year in. Yeah, this is probably my second or third year in. And so, I've learned to always stay to the big roads, because on the big roads, the interstates, the big state roads, when you look at the map and it's got like the white logo, and then the U.S. highways that got that logo, and then you got the U.S. interstates. And then I've learned how to look at the map and it's like, okay, I want to stick to the major highways, the big 4-lane roads that get funding, and they put plows on those roads first. All these local neighborhood roads, local roads, you better not attempt it. You just don't. And so the point is that after looking death in the eye, I can probably sit here and have stories, hours of all the stories, falling asleep behind the wheel, going up and down steep mountains, Mount Eagle up there in Tennessee, all the passes out west, going out there in Nebraska, out there on western Nebraska, Colorado, Utah. I got, all these stories. I can go on and on. It's just like, you know what? It's time to get out of trucking. Time to find a new profession. And so I know guys, they like to just glorify trucking, and it's great, but it's a dangerous business. It's very stressful. You carrying a lot of stuff on your shoulders. There's a lot of things. If you're going to sit up here and make $60,000 to run a truck, that ain't enough money. You got to be making 150,000 to get me motivated about it. If it ain't paying 150,000, I don't want to hear nothing. making 60K in trucking, that don't get me out of the bed to go run in a damn truck. I need 150,000. If it ain't 150,000, 200,000, 300,000, don't talk to me about nothing about no damn truck. Because it's a plenty other things that I can do to make 100,000. That's not in a truck. It's a lot of things I can do to make $75,000 to $100,000 a year, not in trucking. And so that's just my story. That's just my story. You know, that's my whole deal with that. There's a lot of things you can do out here to make a living. Everybody be talking about trucking like it's the ish. Now, when you ain't got nothing, okay, you can do trucking because you ain't never done it. You don't know what you're talking about. But I made enough money. I've saved enough money. I bought assets and stuff like that where I don't need to. So that's just, it's a difference in context. So when you ain't got nothing, you living home with your mama and you looking for a way out, okay, then yeah, get into trucking because you don't have anything, but you don't have any options. So build yourself up, give yourself some options, then you can have my kind of mindset. You know, you can have my mindset, you know. But anyway, this video, 120 minutes, almost an hour and a half. I'm going to end it right here. So I appreciate y'all listening to my story, but I just wanted to motivate y'all, give you a little bit more insight on who I am, you know. Appreciate y'all watching my videos, man. See y'all next time.